I'm Dr. Brent Vaughn, and today I get the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about some of our wellness, well-being products, if you want. There's a number of them here we're going to talk about, both in terms of emotional and mental well-being, as well as physical well-being. There's a bunch in each of those categories, and sometimes people are confused how best to use them and in what situations each one might be better. So hopefully we'll answer some of those questions today and give you some guidance on how to space these out and which ones to take at what time. So let's jump in. Let's start off with the emotional well-being side of it, and you can see these are the products we are going to start with. The new Feel Right that you're introduced to recently, as well as some of the older ones, Reflection from a couple conventions ago, Stress Formula, Inner Sun, some of our older products that have been around for quite a while, and then our Sleep Right product. So we'll show you how you can mix these together to kind of get the most out of all of them. So to start off with, there's a few kind of scenarios we'll throw out here, and then afterwards we'll talk about maybe some specific situations that might or might not apply to your life and your current situation. So let's start here with overall stress and relaxation. This is one where you're going to take most of these products. In the morning, you're going to start off with the Feel Right and the Reflection. So you're kind of giving your body that starting point for the day. These are the things that are going to carry on throughout the entire day, helping you to stay kind of alert and focused, but yet still able to deal with the stresses that you're going to face. In the middle of the day, then you'll add in the stress formula there to kind of help calm things down a little bit, get you ready for the evening. Hopefully by this point you've gone through most of the stressful events of the day, and so now it's time to begin kind of that wind down process. And the last thing you're going to add into this is the Sleep Right product. And you're going to do that about 45 minutes, maybe an hour before you're ready to go to bed for the evening. And that's going to help you get that restful sleep and that kind of rebuild and repair process that takes place while we sleep. Now, if you're interested in just focus, right? You're going to school, maybe you just need some extra help to pay attention in class. Reflection is the product for you. And this one, while we've got it here in the midday, you can actually take it whenever you're going to need that benefit. So if all your stuff is in the morning and you want to stay focused in the morning, then you can take it a little bit earlier. Most of us, it's usually that afternoon period where we kind of maybe a little bit tired and you lose that focus. And so that's why it's kind of in the middle of the day period here. There's probably not much reason for you to take it in the evening or at bedtime. You're going to sleep through and not really get it. And maybe you want to focus on some dreams. It might be worthwhile for you there. But otherwise, midday or morning are your best times to do that if you're focusing in on focus. Lastly, talk about the mood. Inner Sun is our kind of top mood product. It's there to help kind of maintain that healthy, happy mood. And Feel Right is there to kind of complement the benefits as well. So again, just like we did with the stress and relaxation one, you want to start the day off with those and begin those two products first thing. You really not need anything in the middle of the day here. And then again, you want to get that restful sleep. If you don't get a good night's sleep, it makes the next day that much more difficult and can have a significant impact on your mood. So let's talk about a few specific scenarios here where you might want to mix these products up a bit. So I kind of made a few of these. Maybe they're a little bit funny, maybe they're not, maybe they're just annoying to you. But here you can see some situations what you might be looking at and how you can use the products to kind of help you get through those. Now, if you know it's going to be a hard day, this has got a lot of stuff at work, it's just not gone well, whatever it might be. You got to go talk to your teacher's kids or your kids' teachers again, that kind of stuff. So you'll start off like we did with kind of that mood stuff with the Feel Right and Reflection, and then the stress formula again to kind of help in that wind down process later in the day. All right, it's going to be a tough couple of months. You start a new job, you're doing some new things here where it's not going to be normal for a while. So here you're going to kind of go the whole package really. You're going to start off with the Inner Sun. That one takes a few weeks to really get to the maximum effect. And so by taking that over a few weeks period, then hopefully by the end of the first month into that second month, you're getting the full effect from that product. Reflection again there to help with the focus, and Feel Right to again deal with some of those stress and anxiety type things. And then as we talked about at the beginning, Sleep Right to get that restful sleep and that recovery that your body needs. Maybe you've got the grandkids or the nieces and nephews, a bunch of active kids that you're not used to having, and it's just going to be a quick thing. The stress formula is there just to kind of take a little bit of that edge off and maybe make it a little bit more bearable for you. And then the Feel Right to kind of help complement that as well. Take those a few hours before they show up, just so that's all in your system and going by the time they get there. Now, if you ever get back on planes, then this is a good combination to help you deal with that. The Feel Right before, a couple hours before you board or before you go to the airport, before the stress is going to begin. And then if it's a long enough flight, you look at the Sleep Right as a product to help you kind of get some sleep while you're on the plane. And so that gives you a couple different examples of how you might be able to use the emotional well-being products that we offer. So let's move in and talk about some of the physical well-being products. Now you see the Feel Right show up here again. This has some benefits both emotionally and physically, so we've included it in both spots. The new Gold Factor fits nicely into this, and we'll show you how that is here in just a minute. And then, of course, the ones you're probably more familiar with, Renuvo, Flex for Life, the Fibro Daytime, and the Musculoskeletal. So just like with the last one, but here, instead of looking at it in different times of the day, other than the Sleep Right, most of the stuff you're going to want to take in the morning, maybe in the afternoon. But we kind of done this one in tiers. So you have the core tier. These are the ones that are probably the most important for you to take for these particular functions. The second tier, if you need a little bit additional support, you can add those products in. And then, of course, with the third tier, that's the next level for the maximum amount of support. So just general support, the musculoskeletals, a good kind of overall day-to-day general support for both your muscles, bones, and joints. And the Gold Factor that we just introduced, great one, especially for joint health and cellular health throughout the entire body. So that one kind of covers a lot of different bases. And then the Flex for Life and the Fibro, these two, for the most part, you will take one or the other of them, not necessarily both, though you can if you feel you need that level of support. And then, of course, the Sleep Right that we talked about before. Again, this time, the sleep part of it, it's more on that recovery that takes place while you're sleeping. And that's why it's included in this one to help rebuild and repair and aid in that process while you're sleeping. If you're one of those people that has an active lifestyle, then Renuvo becomes one. And that's one we'll talk about in the scenarios here in a minute, how you can take that around your activity to kind of help with that. But this is one, if you're active most days, then it's a good one to take on a daily basis. The Flex for Life is great for your joints to help maintain the health of those as you keep up with that active lifestyle. We put the Feel Right and the Gold Factor here as your kind of second tier options. Depending on the level of activity or the amount of support you feel that you need, you can certainly add one or both of those into the mix. And then the Fibro AMJ kind of there's that third tier if you really need that extra support, maybe for your muscles this time, as it does tend to have a little bit more on the muscle side of things and a little bit on the joints as well. And if you're a very active person, so this would be someone like a competitive athlete, you are training 5 times a week, you're doing several hours of workouts a day, then this is kind of what you're going to look at. Now we're going to do the Feel Right in the morning or as your core with both the Renuvo and the Flex for Life. We move the Fibro AMJ up to that second tier because you're probably needing just that extra additional joint and muscle support. The Gold Factor is still there. And then the musculoskeletal, if you wanted to have just that kind of overall general benefit. So a couple things with this one. If you're going to competition today, then before you go in, you want to kind of give your joints a little boost there. So the Flex for Life or the Fibro, whichever one you happen to prefer in this case. Gold Factor, those are the ones you're going to want to take with the Feel Right before your competition. And you're going to do the Renuvo. Usually you take a couple capsules before the competition, you'll take a couple capsules right after, and then you'll do another 2 about 6 hours after that. That's going to aid the body in that recovery process, and so hopefully tomorrow you're not going to be all that sore and your body is able to make a quicker recovery, get you back out on the track or whatever it is that you're doing. Now, if you're just interested in maintaining and helping your body as it ages, then the Gold Factor, the musculoskeletal, are the kind of good core products. You can add in the Flex for Life there to help support your joints. And then Feel Right to just for that kind of stress and other things that go along with aging, as well as to aid with the activity as you're getting older. Now, I threw in the yard work one here because that probably impacts a lot of folks, whether you are an active person or not. Eventually, you've got to go out and pull the weeds or rake the leaves, whatever it might be. And so in this case, you can kind of prepare yourself by doing the Flex for Life and the Renuvo a little bit beforehand. And just like with the competition, you're going to do the Renuvo afterwards, and then maybe again 6 hours after that. So hopefully you're not going to be complaining about how bad your back hurts the next day from being bent over pulling your leaves. All right, and then Fill Right is also added into that mix to kind of help deal with that and again aid in some of that recovery as well. And so that's it. We've gone through and introduced you to these wellness products and how to use them in combination, and hopefully a few scenarios where you can take advantage of them. Enjoy.